Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
I'm even grossed out by that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, this is another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. If you didn't catch all that, that's okay. This is another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. I happen to be your host, Old Heart, or Jared, or whatever you want to call me, even if it's asshole. I don't really mind, because really, I don't even know who's listening out there. Is there anybody out there? Am I just recording these for just the internet to just store eternally for whomever in the future? Maybe. Maybe this is like my written record of stupid thoughts for everybody to remember me by. That's a trip. I don't want to think about that. Either way, today I'm talking a little bit about something I mentioned on the last Coffee and Contemplation. Thank you. I do feel like it's a nice follow-up. I do appreciate that. I don't follow up very well because my probably undiagnosed ADHD that I have as an adult here is really distracting when it comes to focusing on things. So here I am, focusing on something I already talked about a little bit. On the last episode of Coffee and Contemplation, I mentioned that China is being accused of harvesting organs from people, right? Which sounds very sinister if you ask me. And I just wanted to kind of follow up on that because really, I mean, like, what would you do? What would you do if America was doing this? That's what I want to think. Like, I imagine if anybody's listening, they're probably listening in the States because, like, who gives a shit overseas about America right now? Or about little old heart radio? Little old heart radio. Sounds like a whole heart radio. Yeah, we all pity the fool. Okay, but back to China. So China is being accused of harvesting organs. Let's see. So I found this article on quartz.com. It was talking about how it starts off talking about this family of a man named Han Juquin from Beijing, who was imprisoned for practicing a certain spiritual discipline. He died in captivity, but when his family was allowed to very briefly see his body, more than a month after he had passed away in captivity, they found, according to his daughter, that there were stitches at the throat area using very thick black threads. The incisions extended down until covered by the clothes. So it looked, when they pressed the abdomen, also they mentioned that when they pressed the abdomen, they found that his abdomen had been stuffed with hard ice. So China, the government, just decided your organs are now ours. They gutted that dead body and put them elsewhere. Official organ donations may come from people who voluntarily choose to donate their organs after death, or people who sell organs such as kidneys. China has repeatedly denied all accusations of organ harvesting and claimed it would stop using organs from executed prisoners in 2015. But evidence suggests that the practice continues to this day. Man, to this fucking day, they're harvesting organs. They're probably over there. Somebody in China is gutting a dead body right now and taking an organ out of it for somebody else. I'm just saying that, okay? It's out there now. China, come at me. That's right. I'm like Captain America standing up to Thanos' army at the end of Endgame. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Just joking. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just like horribly fascinated by the fact that they're doing this. So again, official donations, they claim, come from people who choose to do it or by people who sell it for money, sell organs for money. In June, the China Tribunal, which is an independent investigative organization, alleged that these crimes had been happening and that they had found some prisoners that have had their organs forcefully harvested, some while they were still alive. So they're not even waiting for some of these people to fucking die. And that reminds me of this old Monty Python skit where it's in The Meaning of Life, and it's one of my favorite bits that they've ever done. It's they're trying to convince this lady to give up her organs while she's alive. They're like, we just need them. They come to your house and like they gut you, they kill you or whatever, to take your organs. But in order to convince her, they like present this nice song and dance like presentation. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evil, just anyway. So super cool. But this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the government just not giving a fuck. We need it. We need them kidneys, boy. Shoutouts to Yellow T. Shoutouts to my Castle Roll. Shoutouts to Mooner6, Uncaged, my young brother Bugatron. Shoutouts to anybody listening out there. Kudos for you, and kudos to me for actually being here. Oh my God. Okay, so, like I said, there have been evidence of these things happening. So human rights lawyers estimate that nearly 65,000 Falun Gong practitioners, which is a religious practice that gets you apparently thrown in fucking jail in China. But 65,000 of these people that are just practicing a religion that they just decided they wanted to believe in, which is fine. They have had their organs. They've been killed. The 65,000 of them have been killed and have had their organs removed since 2001. Man, other members of religious and ethnic minorities have also been experiencing this. It's insane. China is just, and then obviously China doesn't want to like take credit for this, but they're having a real hard time, I think, not denying it, and that is going to be one of their downfalls. What you talking about, Mr. T? Okay, so the organ harvesting contributes around $1 billion to the organ market in China. It attracts Chinese nationals and people traveling from overseas. A liver can reportedly be sold for $160,000. Oh my God. Some people want to try and ask what legislators in the government can do about all this. Really, that's a good question. It seems like everybody constantly asks things like, well, China's doing this. What can we do as a response? Little old heart radio? Don't know. It seems absolutely insane, man, that they would that this is happening to people of religious or ethnic minorities that the government in China has been throwing in prisons or re-education camps. And two, it seems like not only is this happening to people that die in captivity, this is also happening to people who aren't even fucking dead. They're that's insane to me. That's the most insane thing. They're already throwing you in captivity. They're already telling you that they're gonna re-educate you. And then they come for your fucking kidneys. They come for your liver, man. They harvest your goddamn organs. It's sick. It's wrong. I don't know if I like that kind of shit, man. God, what the hell, dude? Oh, I needed something. Bring me back to level. I'm thankful. There ain't nobody coming for my guts right now. I guess that's all I can say. As I'm sitting here recording this podcast, the only organ I'm missing is my gallbladder, and that was technically voluntarily, I guess. Anyway, so count your lucky stars. It's October. It's beautiful out, dear listener. Well, hopefully it is. At least here in my neck of the woods it is. But also, you are not getting your organs forcefully harvested. So that's kind of great. I think that's pretty hardy. Kudos. So, speaking of it being October, I know I've mentioned this on another October podcast, but it is one of my favorite months. I love horror movies. I love scary movies. I love just the general, spookiness of the idea of Halloween or, whatever you celebrate this time of year. It lends itself to being a little more, just spooky. So I've been starting to make a list, like every true nerd, I've been starting to make a list of the horror movies I'm going to watch this month. I started off with a nice palate cleanser on the 30th, or the 31st, no, the 30th of September, with The Witches of Eastwick, Cher, Susan Sarandon, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson. What a random, great, awesome movie, actually. There's a lot of talk about dicks in that movie, though, which is kind of a little, not off-putting, just a little, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised that there's so much dick talk. It was kind of, for a 90s movie, I believe, or 80s movie? I don't know. Either way, Cher looked young, Susan Sarandon looked young, Michelle Pfeiffer looked young, and Jack Nicholson still looked like Jack Nicholson. But so there was a nice ease into it, kind of there's magic in the air. But let's see, I got quite a few down so far. I've already picked up The Thing from my local video rental store, aka Rainy Day Records, which is one of the only places you can rent movies in town, but they have a killer selection. So I've got The Thing, which is on my, obviously coming up. Alien, which is one of my favorite all-time. It's a sci-fi horror. It's one of my favorite horror movies, though, because it's one of the first horror movies I remember seeing as a young person. Man, things like Pet Sematary, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hellraiser, Reanimator. Got a ton of shit to watch this month. House of a Thousand Corpses, of course, with the passing of Rest in Peace Sid. Shit, man, it's just my favorite time. And I was just reading an article. I'm probably going to touch on this in another episode. I was just reading an article about why anxious people might like horror movies more. And it kind of, made sense to me. I want to follow up on it. But I'm also, like I said, I'm going to talk about a litany of other things. Just random shit. Horror movie-wise, spooky-wise, October-wise. So, thanks for listening as always. I hope you all have a great day. Go out there and use your brains for good, because every day's a good day to ripen up that coconut. And if you can't ripen up that coconut, just remember, keep your stick on the ice.